I sent 7 popular UK tea brands to a lab. What came back made my stomach turn. Pesticides banned in 15 countries and plastic particles all accumulating in your brain. And something called natural flavors, that's actually propylene glycol, the same chemical in antifreeze. The worst part, the brand I'd been drinking for 10 years had DDT in it. DDT, banned since 1972, yet somehow still contaminating your morning cuppa. One brand tested positive for 20 different pesticides in a single tea bag. 20. I'm about to expose 7 brands poisoning millions of people daily and reveal the 2 worth drinking. And of course, how you can spot the tea that's bad for you. If you've got a cup of tea in your hand right now, you might want to put it down. Number 7. Twinings. Everyday tea. Let's start with Twinings Everyday Tea. It's one of Britain's most trusted tea brands with over 300 years of history. The reality is, their everyday range is low-quality tea contaminated with pesticides and packaged in plastic leaching bags. The tea leaves are from Kenya and India, sourced from massive plantations that use intensive pesticide applications. These aren't the premium estates Twinings uses for their specialty teas. This is bulk commodity tea. A tea industry insider told me, Twinings Everyday is their budget range. It's made from tea dust and fannings, the lowest grade of tea. The leaves are broken fragments left over after processing higher grade teas. They buy the cheapest available and blend it to a consistent mediocre standard. The pesticide residues are concerning. Testing has found multiple pesticide residues in Twinings tea, including monocrotophos and quinalphos. These are neurotoxic pesticides banned in the EU, but still used in countries where Twinings sources tea. The tea bags contain plastic. Twinings bags are sealed with polypropylene, a plastic that leaches microplastics into your tea when exposed to boiling water. Every cup contains billions of microplastic particles. A recent study found that a single plastic tea bag releases 11.6 billion microplastic particles into your cup. These particles enter your bloodstream and accumulate in organs. The long-term health effects are unknown, but likely harmful. The tea quality is also poor. Twinings Everyday is made from tea dust and small broken leaves. This creates a bitter, astringent brew with minimal flavor complexity. Real tea should have whole leaves or large leaf fragments. The oxidation is uncontrolled. Broken tea leaves oxidize rapidly and unevenly. This creates an inconsistent flavor and degrades beneficial compounds like catechins and antioxidants. The price is around £2.50 for 80 bags. You're paying for pesticide-contaminated tea dust in plastic bags. The Twinings brand name doesn't reflect the actual quality. When I tested Twinings Everyday, the tea was bitter and one-dimensional. There was no complexity or depth. After learning about the microplastics, I felt sick knowing I'd been drinking plastic particles for years. The fluoride content is also concerning. Tea plants accumulate fluoride from the soil. Low-quality tea from mature leaves has extremely high fluoride content. Excessive fluoride damages thyroid function, bones, and teeth. The storage conditions are questionable. Twinings Everyday sits in warehouses for months before reaching shelves. Old tea loses antioxidants and develops stale flavors. Fresh tea should be consumed within 6 months of processing. Number 6. Tetley Original Tea Bags. Tetley is another British tea institution. Their original tea bags are filled with low-grade tea treated with excessive pesticides and packaged in bags that release harmful chemicals. The tea is sourced from India and Kenya from plantations with poor environmental and labor practices. Tetley prioritizes low cost over quality or sustainability. A former Tetley employee revealed, Tetley buys whatever tea is cheapest on the global market. Quality is secondary to price. The tea changes constantly depending on commodity prices. One batch might be mostly Kenyan, the next mostly Indian. Consistency comes from blending, not quality. The pesticide contamination is severe. Testing found Tetley tea contains residues of multiple pesticides, including endosulfan, monocrotophos, and DDT metabolites. DDT has been banned for decades, but persists in soil and continues contaminating tea. The tea bags also contain plastic. Tetley bags are sealed with polypropylene. When you pour boiling water over them, they release billions of microplastic particles into your tea. The bleaching process is also concerning. Tetley tea bags are bleached white using chlorine. This creates dioxins, which are carcinogenic compounds that can leach into your tea. The tea grade is the lowest available. Tetley uses CTC, crush, tear, curl processing, which creates small, uniform particles. This method is cheap and fast, but destroys the tea leaves and creates a bitter, flat flavor. The oxidation damage is extensive. CTC tea oxidizes rapidly because the leaves are completely broken. This destroys antioxidants and creates stale, bitter flavor. The price is around £2 for 40 bags. You're paying for pesticide-contaminated, plastic-packaged tea dust. When I tested Tetley, the tea was harsh and bitter with no complexity. The flavor was one-dimensional and unpleasant. Knowing about the pesticides and microplastics made it undrinkable. The heavy metal contamination is also a concern. Tea plants absorb heavy metals from soil. Low-quality tea from polluted areas contains lead, aluminum, and other toxic metals. Regular consumption leads to accumulation in your body. The tannin levels are excessive. The aggressive CTC processing releases excessive tannins, creating the harsh, bitter taste Tetley is known for. High tannin intake interferes with iron absorption and can cause digestive issues. Number 5. PG. Tips Original. PG. Tips is one of the UK's best-selling teas. It's also contaminated with pesticides, packaged in plastic bags, and made from the lowest quality tea available. The tea is sourced primarily from Kenya, from large plantations using intensive farming with heavy pesticide use. PG Tips is owned by Unilever, a multinational focused on profit margins over quality. A tea expert told me, PG Tips is industrial tea production at its worst. They source the cheapest tea, process it as quickly as possible, and package it in the cheapest bags. The pyramid bags are marketing, not quality. They're still plastic and still release microplastics. The pesticide residues include multiple toxic compounds. Testing found over 17 different pesticide residues in PG Tips, including monocrotophos, quinalphos, acetamiprid, and chlorpyrifos. These neurotoxic pesticides accumulate in your body with regular consumption. The pyramid bags are made from plastic. Despite marketing suggesting they're innovative, they're nylon or PET plastic that releases massive amounts of microplastics when steeped in boiling water. The tea quality is terrible. PG Tips uses CTC processing on the lowest grade tea leaves. The result is bitter, astringent tea with no complexity or beneficial compounds. The fluoride content is also concerning. Tea naturally accumulates fluoride from soil. Low-quality tea from mature plants has extremely high fluoride levels. Excessive fluoride damages bones, teeth, and thyroid function. The price is around £3 for 80 bags. You're paying for pesticide-laden tea in plastic bags. When I tested PG Tips, the tea was harsh and bitter. The pyramid bags released visible particles into the water. Knowing these were plastic microplastics was disturbing. The aluminum content is also high. Testing found elevated aluminum levels in PG Tips. Aluminum accumulation is linked to neurological problems, including Alzheimer's disease. The acidic tea, combined with mature leaves, creates high aluminum content. The artificial coloring is also concerning. Some PG Tips varieties contain added coloring to create a consistent appearance. These synthetic dyes serve no purpose except aesthetics and can cause allergic reactions. Number 4. Lipton Yellow Label. Lipton Yellow Label is one of the world's most popular teas. It's also one of the lowest quality, most contaminated teas available, filled with pesticides and packaged in plastic. The tea is sourced globally from wherever is cheapest. Lipton is owned by Unilever and prioritizes cost above everything. The tea comes from plantations with the worst environmental and labor practices. A tea industry consultant explained, Lipton Yellow Label is bottom-tier tea. They buy the cheapest tea on the commodity market regardless of quality. The leaves are dust and fannings from large-scale industrial plantations. It's tea-flavored hot water, not real tea. The pesticide contamination is among the worst tested. Studies found over 20 different pesticide residues in Lipton, including multiple banned substances. The levels exceed safe limits for several pesticides. The tea bags contain plastic. Lipton bags are heat-sealed with polypropylene. Each cup contains billions of microplastic particles that enter your bloodstream and accumulate in tissues. The fluoride levels are extreme. Lipton uses mature tea leaves from old plants. These accumulate massive amounts of fluoride. Regular consumption can cause fluorosis, thyroid problems, and bone damage. The tea is also irradiated. To extend shelf life and kill bacteria, Lipton irradiates their tea. This process destroys beneficial compounds and creates free radicals that damage cells. The processing destroys any beneficial compounds. The CTC processing, storage, irradiation, and oxidation mean you're drinking a beverage with minimal antioxidants or health benefits. The price is around £2 for 40 bags. You're paying for contaminated tea dust in plastic bags. When I tested Lipton, the tea was bitter, flat, and unpleasant. There was no depth or complexity. The knowledge of pesticides, plastic, and irradiation made it undrinkable. The mold contamination is also a risk. Low-quality tea stored improperly develops mold. Aflatoxins from mold are carcinogenic and heat-stable, meaning boiling water doesn't destroy them. Lipton's long storage times increase mold risk. The supply chain is completely opaque. Lipton won't disclose specific sourcing or processing details. This lack of transparency suggests they're hiding poor practices and contamination. Number 3. Cuppa Organic. Everyday tea. Cuppa markets itself as organic, ethical, and high quality. The reality is their everyday range is mediocre organic tea that's still packaged in bags containing plastic. The organic certification is legitimate, but doesn't guarantee quality. Cuppa Everyday uses organic tea, but it's still low-grade dust and fannings from commodity organic plantations. A tea specialist told me organic doesn't mean high quality. Cuppa Everyday is organic tea dust. Yes, it's pesticide-free, but the tea quality is still poor. The bags still release microplastics. Organic certification addresses pesticides, but not quality or packaging. The tea bags contain plastic. Despite Cuppa's environmental marketing, the bags are sealed with plant-based plastic, PLA, which still releases microplastics into your tea. PLA requires industrial composting and doesn't break down in home compost. The tea quality is low. Cuppa Everyday is made from broken tea leaves and dust. The organic certification ensures no synthetic pesticides but doesn't improve the grade of tea used. The processing is also aggressive. The tea is CTC processed, which breaks leaves into small particles. This creates rapid oxidation and bitter flavour. The price is around £3 for 80 bags. You're paying a premium for organic certification on low-grade tea in plastic-containing bags. When I tested Cuppa Organic Everyday, the tea was better than conventional brands, but still bitter and one-dimensional. The organic certification made me feel better until I learned the bags still contain plastic. The PLA plastic is particularly deceptive. Marketed as biodegradable and plant-based, PLA still releases microplastics when steeped in boiling water. The particles are just as harmful as conventional plastic. The sourcing is also questionable. While organic, Cuppa sources from large commodity organic plantations in India and Sri Lanka. These aren't small sustainable farms, but industrial organic operations with minimal worker protections. The fair trade certification is minimal. While Cuppa claims fair trade, the certification standards for tea are weak. Workers on fair trade tea plantations often earn poverty wages and work in poor conditions. If you're shocked by what you've heard so far, make sure to subscribe. The final 2 brands are even worse, and at the end, I'll reveal the 2 tea brands you should actually be drinking. Subscribe so you always know which teas are safe. Number 2. Twinings flavoured teas. Twinings flavoured teas are marketed as premium exotic blends. The reality is they're low-grade tea with synthetic, natural flavours and excessive additives. The base tea is the same low-quality dust and fannings as Twinings Everyday. The flavouring is added to mask the poor tea quality. A food scientist explained, natural flavours aren't natural. They're synthetic chemicals created in laboratories to mimic natural flavours. Twinings uses these to create fruit and spice flavours without using actual fruit or spices. It's chemical flavouring on cheap tea. The natural flavours can include hundreds of synthetic compounds. A single natural flavour might contain 20 to 50 different chemicals. These are proprietary blends that companies don't have to disclose. The flavourings include propylene glycol, a solvent also used in antifreeze and fog machines. It's considered safe but has no place in tea. Some people experience allergic reactions and sensitivities. The actual fruit or spice content is minimal or zero. Twinings. Lemon and ginger might contain tiny amounts of lemon peel and ginger, but the flavour comes primarily from synthetic natural flavours. The tea bags still contain plastic. Like all Twinings bags, the flavoured varieties are sealed with polypropylene and release microplastics into your tea. The sugar content in some varieties is also concerning. Twinings doesn't add sugar to tea bags, but the sweet flavouring trains your palate to expect sweetness, potentially increasing sugar consumption elsewhere. The price is around £3 for 20 bags. You're paying premium prices for cheap tea with synthetic flavouring in plastic bags. When I tested Twinings flavoured teas, they tasted artificial and chemical. The fruit flavours were obviously synthetic. After learning about the natural flavours, I couldn't drink them. The artificial sweetness is also problematic. Many Twinings flavoured teas have intensely sweet flavours created from synthetic compounds. This trains your taste buds to expect extreme sweetness, making naturally flavoured foods taste bland. The chemical reactions are also concerning. When synthetic flavours interact with hot water and tea compounds, they create new chemical combinations. The safety of these interactions hasn't been thoroughly studied. The essential oils used are also questionable. Some Twinings varieties contain essential oils, which sound natural but are often synthetic or extracted using chemical solvents. These oils can cause allergic reactions and sensitivities. Number 1. Yorkshire tea. And here we are, the worst tea brand you should avoid. Yorkshire tea. This brand represents everything wrong with the UK tea industry wrapped in brilliant marketing. Yorkshire tea markets itself as proper Yorkshire tea, made by Yorkshire folk. It's actually owned by Betty's and Taylor's, and the tea comes from Kenya, Rwanda, and India. Nothing about it is Yorkshire, except the marketing. A tea industry analyst told me, Yorkshire tea is masterful marketing of a mediocre product. They've created a brand identity around Yorkshire values and quality, but the tea is commodity grade from Africa and India. The blending happens in Yorkshire, but that's it. The tea quality is poor. Yorkshire tea uses CTC processed tea dust and fannings from large plantations. The leaves are broken fragments, not whole leaf tea. The pesticide contamination is significant. Testing found multiple pesticide residues in Yorkshire tea, including monocrotophos and other banned substances. The levels are supposedly within legal limits, but regular consumption means accumulating these toxins. The tea bags contain plastic. Yorkshire tea bags are heat-sealed with polypropylene. Each cup releases billions of microplastic particles into your tea. The oxidation damage is extensive. The broken tea leaves oxidize rapidly, destroying antioxidants and creating stale, bitter flavor. You're not getting health benefits from degraded tea. The fluoride content is high. Yorkshire tea uses mature tea leaves that accumulate excessive fluoride. Regular consumption can exceed safe fluoride limits, especially when combined with fluoridated water. The price is around £3 for 80 bags. You're paying for Yorkshire branding on African tea full of pesticides and plastic. The marketing is deliberately misleading. The packaging shows Yorkshire imagery and uses Yorkshire language, creating the impression this is local tea. It's imported commodity tea blended in Yorkshire. When I tested Yorkshire tea, it was bitter and one-dimensional. Knowing it was African tea in plastic bags contaminated with pesticides made the Yorkshire branding feel like a betrayal. The dependency Yorkshire tea creates is also concerning. People become loyal to the brand through marketing, not quality. They drink multiple cups daily, accumulating pesticides, fluoride, and microplastics. The labour practices are also questionable. While Yorkshire tea claims ethical sourcing, investigations have found workers on their supplier plantations earning poverty wages and working in dangerous conditions. The ethical claims are marketing, not reality. The environmental impact is massive. Yorkshire tea sources from Kenya and Rwanda, shipping tea thousands of miles to Yorkshire for blending, then distributing across the UK. The carbon footprint is enormous compared to locally sourced alternatives. The quality control is also poor. Yorkshire tea blends change constantly based on commodity prices. One batch might be mostly Kenyan, another mostly Rwandan. The consistency comes from heavy blending and standardization, not quality ingredients. The tannin levels are excessive. Yorkshire tea is known for its strong, bitter flavor. This comes from excessive tannins released by aggressive processing. High tannin intake interferes with iron absorption and can cause stomach upset. Here's what you need to know. These 7 tea brands are contaminated with pesticides and packaged in plastic that leaches into your tea. The synthetic flavors and low-quality leaves provide no health benefits. You need to switch to genuinely high-quality, safe tea. Now, this is what you should be drinking. Number 1. Pukka Organic Teas. Pukka uses only organic, fair trade ingredients in completely plastic-free tea bags. Their bags are made from unbleached paper, sealed with organic cotton thread. No heat sealing, no plastic, no glue. The herbs and teas are high quality, properly sourced, and genuinely beneficial. The 3-mint blend contains actual peppermint, spearmint, and field mint leaves with no natural flavors. The Tulsi Clarity contains real holy basil, gotu kola, and nettle. Every ingredient is listed and genuine. Yes, they cost more at around £3 for 20 bags, but you're getting actual quality without pesticides or plastic. The taste is complex, the benefits are real, and you're not drinking microplastics. Number 2. Cuppa Organic. Fair trade green tea, loose leaf. While Cuppa's bagged teas have plastic, their loose leaf organic green tea is excellent quality without any packaging concerns. The tea is organic, fair trade, and properly processed whole leaf. You can see the actual tea leaves, not dust or fannings. The flavor is clean, slightly grassy, and refreshing with no bitterness. At around £4 for 125 grams, it's excellent value for quality tea. Use a stainless steel infuser or ceramic teapot. The loose leaf means zero plastic exposure, and you control the strength by adjusting leaf quantity. Now, if you are out shopping for tea brands, this is how to spot bad tea and choose safe alternatives. Check the tea bag material first. Avoid any bags that are heat-sealed, glossy, or feel like fabric. These contain plastic. Safe bags are unbleached paper stitched with cotton thread. If you can't verify the bag material, choose loose leaf instead. Read the ingredients carefully. Real tea should list only tea, herbs, or spices. Avoid anything with natural flavors, propylene glycol, or unlisted compounds. If you see ingredients you don't recognize, avoid them. Look at the tea grade. Open a bag if possible and examine the contents. You should see recognizable leaf pieces, not uniform dust or tiny particles. Whole leaf or large leaf fragments indicate quality. Dust and fannings indicate the lowest grade. Check for organic certification. This ensures no synthetic pesticides. Look for the Soil Association logo or equivalent organic certification. Non-organic tea from India, Kenya, and China often contains banned pesticides. Verify fair trade certification. This ensures workers are paid fairly. Look for fair trade or equivalent logos. Be skeptical of vague, ethical sourcing claims without certification. Check the harvest date if listed. Fresh tea should be consumed within 6 months of processing. Avoid tea that's been sitting in warehouses for over a year. Old tea loses antioxidants and develops stale flavors. Avoid bleached bags. White tea bags are bleached with chlorine, creating dioxins. Choose unbleached brown or tan bags instead. Question regional branding. If a brand uses UK regional names but sources tea from Africa or Asia, it's misleading marketing. Check where the tea is actually grown, not just where it's blended or packaged. What do you think? Have you been drinking any of these contaminated teas? Are you ready to switch to puka or loose leaf Cuppa? Drop your thoughts in the comments and share this with everyone who drinks tea daily. They need to know about the pesticides and plastic they're consuming. Subscribe for more truth about everyday products, because these tea companies profit from your ignorance about what you're really drinking. See you at the next one.